and welcome to your weekly tarot reading. This will take you from the 15th to the 22nd of January. So, what's going on here? You get quite a lot of major arcanas again. You did have last week, Aries, again. Divine energy, things been worked out way beyond your control. Tend to speak of quite deep transformations going on. You've got the Moon card as your crowning card. So the Moon card is about our deep emotional past. It can represent the family of origin, the mother, but it's also our life in the here and now. And when it shows up, it might point to being in a period of uncertainty and the great unknown. Okay, it's one of these cards called the Great Mystery, as is the Hanged Man. So there might be things that you're uncertain about. You might be uncertain about the next stage in your life. I'm looking at your cards, and you do have the Seven of Discs. So the Seven of Discs is a card of contemplating, considering the way forward, okay? So it sort of reflects the Moon card. On the other hand, at the bottom of your deck, you've got the Chariot, which is speeding forward. So, Aries, here is the theme. There's a theme of quite fast-moving energy. You've also got the Page of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Judgment card, but there's also an emotional energy. And the emotional energy is about being in a period of uncertainty, because the Five of Cups is showing up. There's maybe sometimes the Five of Cups is about regrets and remorse. With that Moon card, so conflicting picture, loads of change, loads of speed, but there's also something going on deep within your emotional life, Aries, to tell you the truth. I can't quite pinpoint it, but the Hierophant showing up too, and as some wonderful reader pointed out to me recently, the Hierophant is about, can be about our ancestors, our past, that which we come from, and the Moon is quite similar. That might only be for a few of you watching, okay? But we'll carry on and I'll get a feeling of what's appearing for you. Your additional guidance card is very like the Moon. You've got deep knowing, because the Moon card has got a really, really, really deep connection with its instincts. It's quite often associated with fear, because sometimes when we have this deep knowing, this deep awareness, Aries, fear can come up with it, because sometimes we fear the messages, especially if it's propelling us forward in one direction and our heart wants to go in another direction. So deep knowing with the Moon card, you are just incredibly connected with this great mystery. Basically, Aries, you know, there's this, there's no other way of looking at it, particularly with that Hierophant as well, but there's definitely a lot of forward motion, because you also start the week, Page of Wands with the Judgment card, so and you've also got the Ace of Wands. So these wands are pure creativity, pure inspiration. There's that part of the child that just moves out into the world and creates. And they create without worry, and they create without fear. It's just that beautiful impulse to move forward. And the Judgment card, holy begory, it's like you're receiving, it's like you're almost this vessel for inspiration, receiving, because these characters are standing up out of their coffins and they're saying thank you for receiving whatever it is It seems to be definitely connected with creativity, intuition, inspiration. And one of these inspirational ideas might stand out because the Page of Wands speaks about opportunities, and there's one wand that's leading you forward, because that's mirrored with the Ace as well. The Aces are all gifts. Sometimes the Aces can come and they can go quite quickly. So, so you lose that idea. It might be the idea of a new creative venture, but unless you act on it. But Aries, I'm not going to tell you that, because that's what you're here to teach me, is about how to act on this impulse that comes to you. But the Chariot is speaking of action. Now it's with the Five of Cups, so there's some emotional stuff going on for you, Aries, okay? There's no way around it. The Five of Cups can be a bit of a grief card. It can be a bit disappointment. As you can see, 3 cups have spilled and 2 are still behind him. So maybe some of these opportunities of the Page didn't quite turn out. But personally, I really wouldn't worry, because one of these wands are standing out. So it's almost as a combination of a lot of inspiration, a lot of forward motion, but there's some emotional issue here, Aries. There's no way around it. You could be in a period of uncertainty, but there's a bridge behind this guy and there's a new life. But for some reason, he's still in that process. You know, I always say to people, you need to feel that Five of Cups, but don't build a house there. So if something's not worked out, or if something's not, there's some grief, it needs to be felt. Because you are ending with the Nine of Cups, so there's going to be a lot of emotional change. I'm a little bit intrigued by this, Aries, to tell the truth. You then move on to the Seven of Discs. So the Seven of Discs is a card of contemplation, reflection. It's also a card about building and endurance. It's someone who wants the Ten of Discs, but the period, so say this is a new creative venture, you're still at the period of building it, but you've worked hard, and unless something devastating comes along, this Seven of Discs is going to end up being a 10, but you're still contemplating. It's with the Hierophant, and because you've got the Moon card, there's something going on regarding your emotional past here, to tell you the truth, Aries. Most of you know the Hierophants, traditionally external authorities, churches, external spiritual teachers. I class it as your own inner teacher, okay, to your own self, be true. But there's something to do with your past here. And it's your very ancient, it's the ancestors' energy, and I have no idea what it is. But it might appear for different people in different ways. Some Aries might have to put some boundaries down around some people, be much more, you know, no, this is the way it is, and this is what I want to happen. So be much more like the Emperor, boundaried, clear cut. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit confused. I'm going to pull you another card. But you do end with the Nine of Cups, the wish fulfilling card, but with the Four of Discs. Very interesting combination of cards. I'm going to show you them. Okay, so the Nine of Cups is, okay, he's worked through the 5 and he's now the 9, okay? So wish fulfilling, emotional happiness, generosity, but it's with the 4, which means you're guarding your heart. So it's, okay, it's a huge paradox here, Aries. I think for you who's got an emotional issue going on, there's a period of uncertainty and ups and downs, And even when it appears as a 9, your instincts are still to hold yourself back a little bit, okay? For others, this could be desiring some big material expense, but trying to hold on to the money you have, because these aren't the most complementary energies. Because a 9, look, he's got all these cups for anyone to come and share, and the 4 is this holding and withdrawing energy. So a bit of a confusing reading, to tell you the truth. I'm not confused with you who are having this creative potential, this beautiful instinct to create something new, to move out into the world. The message is clear. You're going to have to be patient, endure periods of uncertainty and waiting, because the Hierophant can be that traditional authority. So maybe some of you have to go through special laws and guidelines before you can move forward. But then you end with this expansive energy, but also a contracting energy. And I'm not sure why. It might be something to do with that 5 of Cups. I'm going to pull you another card here. Queen of Cups. Oh boy. So I think it's definitely an emotional issue about moving forward, and you've got different impulses, Aries, to move forward, to protect yourself. It's a bit of a dilemma. I haven't got all the answers. Someone gave me into trouble for giving a really strong opinion, so I'm not going to. We just have to see how it all unfolds for you. Okay, Aries, I wish you all the best. Loads of love. Bye.